What is up, everyone? How's it going? Happy Monday or Wednesday. It's not Monday. Happy Wednesday. Today we have a pretty special lab. It is a Ask the Pro session. Now, the pro we're going to be joined with today is a very recent regional runner-up. He's also an amazing friend of mine, and he's been playing this game for longer than some of these juniors have been alive. So he knows what he's doing, and yeah, he's just a really great person. But he recently finished second at Milwaukee, so we're gonna bring him up to the stage to kind of ask him some questions about Pokemon and also kind of just in general, what it kind of takes to be a pro at this game. So Lorcy, welcome, welcome.
Hey, what's up, guys? What's going on? It's Lorcy, better known as Lorcy Loves You. I've been playing BGC for I've been around the BGC community for 10 years. I've been playing competitively since 2015. I started mid 2015 season and I ended at the end of 2017 season. And I picked it back up 2023 at San Diego Regionals, and from there I've I was a day two worlds competitor twice, one being in 2016 and the one being in 2023 worlds. I want to say the 2023 was that reg. What reg was that?
Reggie.
Reg E. Yeah, sorry, reg E. And yeah, so my first year playing competitively fully, a lot of people don't know, I got the Worlds travel stipend, so I didn't pay to go to Worlds my first year playing. I've top cut multiple regionals. I have a good, healthy mindset at the game now, and I'm just happy to be here to help you guys out to get better at the game. I think it's important to be able to talk to pros and see where their mindset is at when it comes to the game. I'm not here to gatekeep. I know Brady's not here to gatekeep as well. You guys are in one of the best discords to learn and play BGC, and this is not me saying this because this is my friend. This is me saying this because when I came back into the game, Brady took me in with open arms, and I haven't played in years, and he got me back into shape, and I'll never forget that. And
Oh,
if it
thank you.
wasn't for him, and it wasn't for some other people, I wouldn't be the player that I am today.
Well,
So I'm excited to help and work with you guys.
thank you so much for that. I have to say, really quickly, I gotta ask because I know you just talked about like your break, right? How you kind of went on and off, and yeah, I remember like I kind of helped you get some of the rust off initially. But it's like once you kind of got it, like you kind of got it, like you know the game. It just yeah, all I did was kind of just I just threw you back in the ringer, just like best of threes, just like got back with it. Um, but anyways, though, my first question for you, Laura, is so you said you took a break between your you said end of 2017 you stopped. What kind of led to you making that decision, and what do you feel like the biggest shift in your mental from whenever you were playing before until now you have a like self-proclaimed like healthy mindset looking at the game? What do you feel like the biggest difference indicator was? Like, why'd you stop playing, and then what is your mindset now that you wish you could have told your younger version of yourself?
So back then, I had to make a decision due to family reasons. I wasn't financially able to play the game. I could have actually played, but it would be very selfish, and I didn't want to be a burden to my mother. So at the time, I had to make a decision to either focus on Pokemon solely without like advancing further in my career, or oh yeah, just not be where I'm at today. So basically, I took upon myself to leave BGC at my peak. I don't know if Brady or for you, some of you those know, 2017 was probably one of my best years. Besides, obviously, what's going on now, one of my best years playing Pokemon. I think I top cut two regionals or three, or I forgot,
Philly, you knocked
and
me
I
out
was maybe
at top
top
eight. I remember that.
17 in championship points in in the country. And prior to that, I was in 2016. I was, I believe, sixth. And I did this by, obviously going to locals and placing very, very well at regionals. So at the time, it was a tough decision because when you feel as though you're at your highest, uh, you want to know how far you could take it, especially at a world's caliber level, right? And I decided not to go to Worlds that year to not have any financial burdens on myself and for my family. And ever since then, I just took a break and focused on my life. And once everything was stable, I returned back to the game that I love. And it's very important for everybody listening here that we all want to be great. We all want to be good. We all want to be something within this game. Everybody has their own personal goals, whether it be placing very high, helping friends place very high, etc. But I will always say it's important to have your life under control before the game. Um, and the game will always be there. Like BGC came back, and like I said, Brady he opened his arms to me as soon as I said, "Yo, I'm back to playing." He didn't forget about me. I was good friends with Wolf, and he didn't forget about me as well. Multiple players that I could just lean on and ask questions that I was very good friends with back then. uh, They were still there, and that was something that I was scared of when I wasn't playing because you feel like you're forgotten a little bit, you know. Especially just watching the regionals and knowing that it could be you in those top tables, it could be you in those top cuts, it could be you winning these regionals. It was a tough feeling. I don't know if I would have felt this way if I wasn't as good as I was, but I definitely had regrets. I wouldn't say regrets, but I definitely felt sad not being able to play the game that I love for years. There was times where I would hop on Showdown. I would go to a random event, like if it was a local, like regional. I think I went to Hartford. I played 17 in 2019, I want to say, with no prep. I just kind of just took a team and just went. And yeah, but I'm back. And I'm back like I never left. 2023 was a little bumpy road, just trying to get back into the game. I think I had maybe a couple top 32s, maybe a top 16 at best, not too sure. And then from there, I kind of revved it up a little bit. 2024 season, I top eight in internet. I top eight Orlando regionals. I think I top eight Hartford regionals. I think in 2023. But basically, I was always around those top 32 ish, top 64 finishes, even top 128 at times at these internets. And while these are all great placings, um, being friends with Brady, the Wolves, the Pokey Alexes, the Eric Rioses, um, I wanted to strive for more. I was feeling as though I was capped at a certain point. Like I couldn't do better than top 32, or I couldn't beat X player at an event. Because they're just more notable and or better than me, and I had to get out of that mindset and evaluate what are the things that I'm doing wrong. What approach am I taking to the game that is not correct? Is my mindset not correct? How am I taking hacks at an event? How am I approaching matchups? How am I approaching leads? Am I conducting myself in prep well prior to these events? And these are all things that you got to take into consideration. And I know it's annoying and very repetitive of me to say this, but I tell this to my close friends. You also, although like you're doing this coaching and you're getting all this information from Brady, you also have to do the work yourself. There was a lot of the times I would just not do the work myself and just take a team and think just because I'm Lorcy, I'll do fine at an event, and I would get humbled very easily. So especially, I know you guys all want to be great. Brady can only help you so much. Make sure that you guys are taking it upon yourselves to be great outside of these sessions, and make sure that if you have any questions outside of these sessions that you're notating it and bringing it back to Brady or whomever you feel as though can answer these questions appropriately, if that makes sense.
So, the next question I'm gonna have is like you talked multiple times about like having like a mentor or I suppose friends in your case, because like you like befriended Wolf, you befriended me, you befriended Poke Alex, a lot of these like top names. What would you say? Number one, the importance of having other people around you, like like-minded people that like kind of share the hobby. Maybe they're a little bit better than you, or maybe you think you can be better than them if you just worked a little bit harder. Uh, how important is that? And then number 2, how would you go about befriending people, like people that you think could be good that are, maybe either, a little bit out of your league? Like, how do you make friends in this game, like valuable friends?
So you only, I think it's important to speak to everybody. You don't need to necessarily speak to the Wolves, the Bradys, the Lorcys. You don't need to really talk to them. But you need to understand that in this game, I think it's more powerful to have more minds on a team than just solely one. And it's just a proven fact at this point, right? If you look at the Tangs, Justin Tang and Shiliang Tang, that group, and there's other players outside of that group. Shiliang Tang seems like he's the brain of the team building aspect of the group, right? And then, not to say that he's not a great player, he's an amazing player, actually a phenomenal player at that. But there are definitely strong players within the group that are hard play testers, which would be Justin Tang. Justin Tang probably plays 12 to 16 hours of Pokemon when he's prepping for an event. And this is not me exaggerating, this is me being realistic. And to those that think that's a lot of time, yes, it's a lot of time, but it does come with results. He's a 3 times world champion in the in the Scarlet and Violet era. And if you want to be great and if you want to be good and if you have goals in this games, sometimes it's going to take that level of those hours of playtime to get there. I am one to say I'm not a good I'm not a great learner, and it takes for me to become a good learner. Sorry, I'm sorry, for me to become a good learner, I go through trial and error. So when I first started playing BGC, I didn't understand EVs, IVs. I didn't understand why you would protect in certain scenarios. So for me to learn, I just vigorously played a lot of Showdown. And once I calculated my errors, I mean, it did take some years to, I mean, it took like a year, but it took some time, but I slowly started to pick things up. Every single day is a learning experience in BGC. And I will say today is like still for me, I'm still learning stuff as we go. And if you think that you reached your peak in terms of learning in BGC, I have some bad news to tell you. That's not a great mindset to have. You always need to be open minded when it comes to learning in this game and to not be a know it all. That's one thing. But as far as friend goes, you guys are friends of each other. The audience that are listening, you guys could all learn from each other. You don't need to be with a day 2 world's competitor or top cut player to become like one of them. There are groups out there that are working vigorously hard that might not have the accomplishments that me or Brady or others might have, but are still having players within the group that are doing exceptionally well, whether it be top 32, top 16, etc. And it's happened. It's happened. It probably happened almost every event in the Scarlet and Violet era. There's always that one player that nobody's ever heard of, and you figure out that they worked with such and such, and yada yada yada. So it's just important to know your weaknesses and to have a group that could help you with your weaknesses. For me, for example, I'm not good with EV spreads. I'm not good with making spreads. I'll be honest. That's one of my weakest points in this game. I don't like to calc, and I haven't calced anything in probably months. And I go off calcs by just playing the game. These are mental calcs, and this is not. So I don't want to say it's not a bad approach, but it's not the best approach. So, for example, I would ask Brady, "Hey, I'm running this team. Do you mind taking a look at it? And also, do you mind running some calcs for me? I'm not really good at calcs." Brady, being my friend and a close friend of mine, he would definitely do it. And if Brady, vice versa, needs replays of me playing a team because I'm a strong player, hey, do you mind if I could get some prep into X, Y, and Z? I would do it for him. And you see how it just coincides with each other. Like we could help each other out. So it's just important to have a group that's willing and wanting to work things out together. And it's okay. And it's very important to not agree on everything. You don't want a yes man
Yep.
situation in a group. For example, I'm Lorcy, and you guys in the audience are in my group. Do not, if you feel as though I'm saying something that does not make sense, do not be a yes man just because of who I am. Well, Lorcy has to be right because he has X, Y, and Z accomplishments. Wrong. That's a terrible approach. And if you're in a group where there's an elitist or somebody of that manner that portrays themselves this way, that you feel as though you have to um, have this ideology, then I would say remove yourself from that group. I have argued with the best of the best, and I've argued with people that have no not similar accomplishments than I have. So it's very important to have discussion. You don't want to have just ideas just being thrown out there and everybody's yep, stamp approved, stamp approved, stamp approved. You don't want that. And there's going to be scenarios where you guys will all agree on something, and that's fine. But I'm saying if everything, I'm talking like every idea is being agreed upon, then I think that it fails to bring discussion upon a group. So just important to just work with people. That's it.
That is like, I was like, just pause for a sec, guys. I just gotta say, uh, that is like probably the best piece of advice I've like ever heard. Like everyone pays for a coach to sometimes people pay a coach just to validate their opinions. Which sometimes they just need the confidence. But like, in this game, like you need to be able to think for yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's your tournament run that matters. Like the coach, they're gonna focus more on their tournament run than your tournament run, unless they're not competing. Because then it's like they're not competing for anything. But at the end of the day, it's like almost every coach is a competitor, a former competitor, and this is how competitors think. Like we prioritize like ourselves like above like other people because we're betting on ourselves. We think we're the best, you know. You can call it delusional, narcissistic, whatever. But it's like to be like, one of the best, like you really have to believe in yourself. And then there it's a really just fine balance between having some confidence, but also not taking too much pride in yourself and your identity as a player. Like, yes, you can have accomplishments, but I can still be wrong. I may be wrong less than I was yesterday, but I can still be wrong and still be very, very mindful of that. And like, I just think that's just a really good point that Lorcy brought up. And I was saying that even as I'm hearing it right now, like I'm like, yeah, I needed to hear that. Like that's just really good stuff, Lorcy. Thank you so much for kind of bringing that up. That literally that hit me. Like even as a coach, I'm like, damn, like I gotta remain humble. It's like I gotta like stay like on this path. I cannot just like the second I get like a little bit of results, I can't let it get to my head. And it's just a really good reminder. So yeah, just thank you for just like kind of saying that. But the next question I got for you though is so I know you do coaching, right? By the way, guys, if you guys are watching this, I should plug this. Lorcy is doing a $5 discount. His normal rate is $40 per hour, but if anyone books here, they can get it for 35 for 1 hour. But basically, my question for you though, Lorcy, is in your coaching, when do you feel like you've helped people out the most, and when do you feel like it's time for someone to reach out to a coach versus reaching out to one of their friends for an answer?
So I'm very open when it comes to coaching. I don't do coaching as much as I used to, just because of the simple fact, personal reasons. I want people to do the work themselves and then have a problem and then come address it with me if they can't figure it out, right? So that's just how I approach it. I think everybody learns differently. That's very important to say. Some people need somebody to actually like hold their hand step by step, and there's nothing wrong with that. Um, but I'm the person that you would want to come to when nothing makes sense. I've tried everything, so I'm gonna go to X. I take pride in trying to solve any situation that you deem unsolvable. So, with that being said, I just don't want people to come to me and just have just like just an airhead mentality, just kind of just like, all right, I'm getting coaching from Lorcy. He's gonna do all the legwork. He's gonna do everything because I'm paying X, Y, and Z, and I would refund your money, honestly. And I have done it, and I have done it because it's not about money for me. I legitimately want people to get better, right? So I would refund your money and tell you to go do the work yourself and then come back to me because I see as though you just want me to just answer all your questions, which is fine. But I'm telling you, these questions could be easily answered yourself if you just go out there and do the work for it. And I've had people come back to me and tell me, "Oh my God, Lorcy, thank you. I appreciate you for doing that. I found it out. I couldn't believe it." And sometimes it's all it takes. You got to be able to motivate people to kind of want to do the work themselves as well. But To go back to basically what Brady, sorry, what were you saying, Brady?
So you answered the first half of this. The next question was, when would you recommend going to a coach versus just asking like your relative group that you have access to?
It all depends on how comfortable you feel with your group. I don't mind prior to a regional, maybe like 2 or 3 days before, maybe a week before, where if you've exhaust all the ideas within your group, you have your team ready, and you approach a pro. Um, the pro could be going to the event or not. You approach a pro, hey, this is what I'm running. What's your thoughts? What you think? Because at the end of the day, they're the pro, right? They're prepping as well for their event, so it's just a leg up to kind of see where the pro's mentality is at, or what's their thoughts going into X event. So there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's all on personal preference. For me, if I was new to the game and I'm going to my first event, I definitely think I would pay Brady, for example, right before the event, just so that I could have a good feeling heading into the event on what to expect, what to see, just because I am confiding in Brady, whom has shown the results, who has shown that he is capable of placing well, to give me that confidence going into the event to know my stuff. Right. That's the only. That's the. I think that's a good reason why. I think confidence is very important. It's a very underrated skill to have in this game, and hearing or having a coach, or sorry, rather, let me not say coach, a pro, reiterate things that maybe you might be thinking and or you might not be thinking, uh, is good, right? So, like for example, if a coach is telling you, "Hey, you're gonna expect Sneasler Balance, um, Marco Sun, and or Rain Balance, right, or Elizabeth Rain," and you already had this in your notes and you already prepped into these teams prior to you even um, speaking with the pro, then that means you're doing something good and you're doing something correct. So just knowing that you're on the same wavelength as the pro is also just a good way to evaluate where you're at in terms of prep before a tournament. So like I said, it's all personal preference. I think that it's probably in your favor if you're newer to the game to actually approach a pro. Within your group, if you feel as though you feel confident with your group members, and they've shown that they have the results, and well, you don't necessarily need the results, but if you feel comfortable with having somebody in a group that has the results, then it could be the same as approaching a pro, especially with multiple minds on it. So like it's really all personal preference. It's really just all personal preference, but that's how I would view it.
Thank you. So, okay, and if, I want to insert my opinion here as well. There is a fine line. Sometimes there are too many cooks within a kitchen. Anyone in this server, by the way, I
Mm-hmm.
actually encourage you guys to find like little micro groups within this because some people you'll just click with better than others, right? And I know a few of you guys have already taken initiative on this. For example, I know we have a few different micro group chats. We have the Mouse Ape gang. We also have the Rainboys. And basically, it's like you guys have already kind of did that, but I just want to just say that once again that finding like a micro group, like of just like maybe like 3 to like 4 people that you just really, really rock with. You know, it's like just people that everyone's input is very valued and you respect them. That's just, it's really, really important. I just have to put a little side point on that. Um, but now I'm really curious on Lorcy because I feel like everyone has a different answer on this one. I've asked this a few different times. Um, so on the topic of confidence versus like calculation, say, what kind of player are you? Are you more of an instincts based player or are you more of a calculated player? Do you even believe in that? Or do you believe that it's, Pokemon's Pokemon? Like, what is your philosophy whenever you're playing the game? You load up round one, game one of the regional, you see your opponent. What's going on through your head exactly?
Round one, usually I would say I lean more towards an instinct than a more calculated player. As far as calculations and numbers, like I told you guys, be honest, the last two regionals, I didn't do any calcs. I think Milwaukee, I ran calcs through ChatGPT because I am so lazy, and I looked at it and I kind of was
That's
like,
so funny.
what am I reading? I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna play off how I just play on Showdown. And not to say that it works for everybody, Not to say that it works for everybody, but it works for me because I have a lot of years of playing this way. I understand calcs by just looking at damages. I don't need to read fancy numbers to know what the damage calcs are within my team because I vigorously play a lot of games when I'm prepping for an event. If I have time, I'm playing a lot of showdown games and I'm learning my calcs through there. Now, with that being said, sorry, Brady, repeat it one more time. I don't want to lose my thought.
So whenever you're up against someone round one, like what goes
Okay.
on through your head?
So round one, I usually do a slow approach. It all depends on if I know the player or not. If I don't know the player, I usually play somewhat safe, and I try to maybe get aggressive here and there on turn to kind of gauge where my opponent's at. And if I see that me and my opponent are on, no disrespect to my opponent, are on two different wavelengths of just reading the board or accessing what needs to be brought within a matchup, then I play to that. Especially if the matchup is in my favor. Usually if the matchup is in my favor, I tend to play more on the safe side. And if I see that my opponent is playing aggressive, that means they know that this matchup is good for me, and they need to play a little bit better to kind of beat me within the matchup, and I assess it from there, and I play to that as well. Um, I've just had recently a lot of success. I think in Swiss, I'm like 20, I don't know, like something like 20-4 or whatever the number is. And that method has just been working for me. As you guys saw on stream, I do play aggressive. In my top 8 set versus Brian Collins, I basically called game two, we'll highlight game two. I basically called exactly what he wanted to do turn one, game one, and turn one, game two, and that ultimately lost him the set. Uh, and that's instinct. That's instinct. That's not calculated. That's not something that you could just 100% for sure know, right? But like a calc, well, a calc is not 100% because obviously you could be crit or whatever the case may be. But just understanding and assessing your opponent's demeanor within a game, especially on the team they're utilizing, as which like hard trick room, for example, you know that hard trick room players want to play more so on the aggressive side. They don't want to play conservative at all. Because if they're playing conservative, that means they're probably not doing much to advance the board state within their favor. And with hard trick room, you want to advance the board state as much as in your favor as possible within those trick room turns. So it just becomes on just understanding the concepts of teams you're playing. And with players with tenure in the game, like me and Brady, I always say this, and it's an important thing to state that concepts never change, but teams change. Meaning, hard trick room has been around for years. Me and Brady have probably seen so many variants of hard trick rooms within the last couple formats since maybe 20, I've been playing since 2015, and the concepts really don't change. The idea of the team doesn't change. It's just the party members of the team that are different, but the idea stays the same. On what they want to do usually stays the same, and that goes with balance, and that goes with HO. So a lot of people need to value and understand that as you get tenure within the game, that every format there's gonna be a variant of a team. There was once a Sneasler Balance. I joked around and I tweeted chalk and I wrote Sneasler Balance on Twitter. I don't know if people saw that, but although I was joking, there was somewhat truth to the joke, right? There's definitely some aspects of chalk that are very similar to Sneasler Balance. So I was just kind of pulling a leg, but at the same time, there's a lot of truth to that joke. And it's just being you got to be able to identify when and where, when and how you could play within against the team, and it's an underrated skill to have. I know people are very big on uh well how do these people say it nowadays, lines. Like, okay, like this line, this is the line that I have for this team, and this is how I'm gonna approach the matchup. Now, if you follow that line to the T and you play a player that understands what you need to do within the game, and they break your line, will it break your flow state within the game? Do you know how to approach a game when your line is broken? Do you know how to play behind? These are skills that a lot of players do not think about when they're playing this game. There are many times that I played where I've had a line that was broken and I had to play back. I had to figure it out from there. Like when I like I was like sorry in finals I was basically behind in almost every game set that sorry every game in that best of three. Although I won game two, I was very behind because one of my lines were broken and I had to come back from that. And that was high horsepowering and terror blasting into the Rilla slot because I know exactly how to play the team. We're playing the same team, so I understand what he thinks is safe and what I'm most likely not going to do is safe for him, and I called it right. Being able to make calls, being able to make aggressive calls. There's gonna be times where you need to make plays like that. Players that are winning regionals are making plays usually 7 times out of 10 within a tournament. There's no tournament where you're going to play a team to the T and to the line. It's just not happening, especially at this level of Pokemon now. Maybe in the prior years, I want to say 2017, 2016, 2015, 2014, maybe you could get away with just playing 100% safe and winning a regional. But if you don't have the ability to make aggressive plays uh, within a tournament run, it might not go exactly how you want it to go. And I will say that I've had my back against the line multiple times within Milwaukee regionals, multiple times within Pittsburgh regionals, and I ended up winning the sets because of the fact that I approached whatever game in an aggressive manner to win. So yeah,
So, how do you get the courage to do that? Like in the moment, whenever it's like your back's against the wall, like how do you muster up that courage to make that play that your gut is just screaming at you to make? Does it just kind of play itself, or do you have to like muster up any courage, or do you just kind of just go with it like the second it comes to you?
so for me, I play a lot on Showdown, so I've made these plays with no regrets, obviously, because Showdown is meaningless. So you learn from playing a extensive amount of games, especially within a short amount of time frame, and that's why me personally, I believe that Showdown is one of the best forms of practice, just to get as much downloadable information into your brain as possible. So me playing a lot of games and me playing on high ladder as well, and me running into the same teams 9 times out of 10, whether it be Rain, my the mirror within my team, and or any other common team, I just know exactly how to play. And if I get behind, I've been behind before on Showdown. I've been behind before, so I know exactly what I need to do to get back into the games at times. So I would say that comes with practice. You can't make these hard you can't really make these risky plays without making them beforehand and understanding why it makes sense to make these plays. So understanding the board is very important because you need to understand how the board is going to shift and or shift in your mind to make a a crazy play to say yeah, to make a crazy play at that. So yeah, I would say that it just comes with practice.
And then, like, how do you kind of balance that? Because I know you said earlier on in the format, like, or sorry, earlier on in the tournament, rather, you usually kind of play
Mhm.
safe. Like, whenever you switch gears from going from automatic to manual, like, does it usually happen like between like day one, day two? Does it just kind of happen throughout the tournament day? Like, in my experience, the longer the tournament goes on, the more people have to play for, so they end up playing way riskier in Top Cut. I don't know if you have the similar experience, but in like Top Cut, people
Mhm.
play like they just disrespect the hell out of anyone they play up against because they're like, "Hey, I'm playing to win this." You know, it's like, is your experience kind of similar, or do you have a different experience on
Yeah, man, I shadow balled the Ursaluna in game three of a of a final. So I've definitely, like I said, I definitely had my fair share. So I can say that yes, disrespecting is a lot. Is has been seen a lot, especially at top tables, because everybody has the mindset. Okay, like I'm playing Lorcy, he definitely understands how to play the game. He definitely understands what I need to do. I need to play aggressive into him, and vice versa. Like me and Brady, it's not going to be your conventional best of three. You know, it's not going to be your straight cookie cut forward best of three. We know that we both know how to play the game and we played each other multiple times. You're going to be at regionals where you're going to play players that know how to play the game and they're going to know that you know how to play the game if you're at that high level consistently. And if you guys play each other played each other at events before and or on Showdown because this has happened. Literally, I just heard on an interview. Sorry to get off topic. I just heard on an interview. I think his name is Eric. He got top 16. We were with him, Brady. I forgot his
Yeah,
last
Eric,
name.
that's his name. Yeah, Eric.
Eric. And I was listening to a Tub Take interview, and he said, "Oh, I played Lorcy in top 16. You know, I played him on Showdown." I'm like, "Huh? How did you even know my ult? How do you even know we played? How did you even remember what I did?" In the set. So like you need to be aware that like people are like downloading the way that you play and or how you play, and yeah, it's just I don't know. At a high level, the game is definitely approached differently. Not to say that you can't play safe, especially if the matchup is like really good. You could kind of play safe and see, like for example, like there's this like Volk Balance team that's going around that supposedly beats like Sneasler Balance, right? And supposedly this is all hearsay. If you play safe with the Volk Balance team, 7 times out of 10 you're beating Sneasler Balance. Like that's just the gist of what I'm getting from people that I'm prepping that I was prepping with, and I'm just like I don't know if I have that mindset. You know what I mean? So it all depends on you, the player, and how you see how the player plays. Any past experience playing the player. It's a lot of mind games at the high level, basically, guys. It's a lot of mind games at a high level, especially in a mirror match. And to get better at this, you need to play a lot of sets, a lot of practice. You need to put in the time and effort and work into understanding the game. You're not gonna just pick up a team and just learn everything within a day or two. Um, if that, unless, like I said, if you had, unless, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, you have tenure with playing balance. Like I've been playing balance for over 10 years. My Pittsburgh run was I've had no practice. My solo practice with that team, and Brady's here. He could confirm this with you guys. I texted Brady. I said I'm running this. I was given this team. This is what I'm using, and I lost to Brady, and he probably has the text messages still. And I
Yeah.
said, okay, this is all the practice that I need.
You just
But
you showed up, got top 8, just casually, but, that
yeah, but
was legendary.
I think that, and it goes back to what I was saying, where concepts don't change, but team members do. I understand the concept of the team. Uh, the Sneasler Balance team is one of the best balance teams of all time, in my opinion. As being one of the best balance players, like in BGC, I could say that because I know what a balance team wants, right? And obviously, with the results that this team has, there's an argument that could be made, right? And this is just how I personally feel, but it just everything kind of just makes sense on the team, especially at that time. It's just important to get guys. I can't stress it enough. If you want to be good at this game, I don't know if you're gifted or not, but you need to put in the time and effort in. You need to put the after hours work. You need to put in the time and effort and play this game. I put in the hard work and effort in 2015 and 2016, where I was almost playing 16 to 18 hours a day, nonstop. But I'm not saying it's healthy and it's good, but that's what sometimes being great at something, especially if you're not smart like me, that's sometimes a necessity. For me, it was a necessity back then because if I didn't approach the game in that way, I wouldn't even be close to where I'm at today. So, not to say that you have to do the same and put amount of time and hours in because the game is totally different now. Information is out there, replays are out there, videos are out there. Back then, it was more scarce on an information side of the game. So for me personally, I learned through trial and error, being playing ladder, losing, reviewing, playing ladder, losing, reviewing, playing ladder, asking questions, reviewing, losing. I learned a lot from my losses more than my wins. I learned a lot from reflection than from just winning sets. I tell people all the time, losing is the best form of winning within Pokemon because Pokemon is a learning game. It's always and forever will be a learning game. And now if you're always winning, you could win and also learn as well. Because there's times that I've won games where I could have approached it so much more safer and 100% of it instead of going with a 97.5% chance to win the game or a 95% chance to win the game. So it's always important to be able to open your mind to learning. And if you guys know the best route to learn, whether it be in Pokemon, well, sorry, what if and especially in Pokemon, make sure you approach it and you approach it vigorously.
Awesome. Now, thank you so much. That's like really just good insight, just really motivational. Like I always tell everyone in this chat, by the way, like everyone like knows this, and I probably sound like a broken record, but it feels really good to kind of like have you, someone who just came off a second place, really encourage the number of reps in. Like once you kind of reach like your 10,000 hours in the game, and you can accumulate this over the span of like 10 years. It could take you a while. However,
Mhm.
once you reach a certain threshold, you never really forget how to play Pokemon. Like it's like it's in your just brain. Like it's like a certain like mindset you get, but you can only get it from just embracing like you're going to suck for the first like probably like 1,000 like 5,000 hours you put in. But then eventually you'll get to that top like 0.1% if you just keep on persisting with it because you simply put in more work than everyone else. Now, like Lorcy said, like maybe some of you guys are gifted, but what I noticed about gifted kids, the biggest struggle is that their motivation slash work ethic is not the greatest because they kind of rely on their intellect as a crutch. But at the end of the day, nothing can really make up for experience and exposure into a situation. There's been people that I've lost to that I know are smarter than me. And like, I could just tell, like this guy, like I think this guy is like a rocket scientist or something. Like he's definitely smarter than me, but like he doesn't know the game like I do. And then vice versa. There's other people that like I'd show up, like in my pride and my arrogance, go up to a tournament and just be like, "Yeah, I'm the goat," and I would get master class by just some guy that just understood the matchup more than me. And he wasn't necessarily smarter than me, but he just like understood it better. He had more experience and exposure, and that is just like everything in this game. But on that note, I do want to very quickly pivot over to a Q&A with the audience because we're getting the last 15 minutes here. So I want to make sure that we get some questions in. I saw a question earlier that was asked a while ago, and it was asked twice. So I want to make sure that I hit this one. Um, if you had a regional coming up in about like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, just you're on a few weeks deadline, what would your like routine slash practice be to make sure you're in shape to feel very confident that you could top cut, if not win the entire event?
Do I have the team in my hand 2 weeks prior or no?
Let's say you're juggling between that, like that and like 2 other teams. Maybe you have 3 teams,
I'm
you
playing a
honed it down.
vigorous amount of hours of Showdown, probably like well, for me now, I usually only play like an hour Showdown a day if I'm practicing for an event, but it's effective practice, guys, and I'll explain what effective practice is. Um, but if I'm not doing effective practice, I'm doing mindless brain. I don't want to say mindless, but I'm doing straight best of three ladder. Normally, you can find me on the best of three ladder, and I take the team and I see how far I can take it. Usually, I try to get to top 50. I know that's very hard, right? Like, but for me, um, that's just what I do. I try to break at least top 100, top whatever, and I'm like, okay, this team is good, and then I'll take the other team and I'll do the same, and I would just try to memorize like how to play into certain teams, and or if I steal the team, I would ask the person that I stole the team from if they have any ideas on leads into X, Y, and Z to kind of speed up the process in terms of understanding the team. So that's my usually my approach. Just maybe a couple hours of showdown a day, and if I stole a team from a friend, I would ask them if they have a doc and or if they have any lines into the common teams that I expect to face. It's very simple. I think that's very simple.
That's good. So then, like the next question, you did kind of talk a little bit about like replay review slash analysis. Has there been a situation where you kind of like didn't
Mhm.
really like know what to do? Like let's say if you ended your showdown game and maybe it's like you're sitting on that one loss, you're like, what the hell do I even do there? Like, what goes on in your head? Do you like no life think about it until you can find a solution, a different way to approach it, or do you just drop it?
I know life think about it until I can find a solution, and if I can't find a solution, I bring it to a group of friends that I trust that could pinpoint me to the right direction. That's where, like Brady also said that it's not good to have too many hands in a pot, but at the same time, there's also good to it. There's going to be times where you're going to see plays that I might not see. Like we all do this. We Monday night quarterback on a stream game, and we're always like, oh, why didn't Lorcy just parting shot and protect or switch into Rillaboom and Earth Power or like anything. There's always hindsight, right? And we all view the game differently, so it's very important to see. Um, for example, it's very important for me to see how Brady would approach it, and especially if I lost, so to kind of see where his mindset at, because it's very important to just talk about the game with others. So as open dialogue on BTC, it's one of the fastest ways to learn the game at a high at a faster speed. Because I notice, especially when I have open dialogue with my friends, is that we will bicker and argue about just like what we think is good, and then I'll be like, oh shoot, you're right, that is good. I wasn't even thinking about that, and I will have that embedded in my brain now that that is good, and I won't have the other mindset where I wouldn't even value that kind of line and or play and or team and or etc. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And then like on that note, also on like replay review, just like I just want to kind of get this one like kind of sitting at home. What would you say like if you could
Mm-hmm.
get it down to one single thing in every single replay that like you
Mm-hmm.
review, like what is the most important indicator you look for? Like it like for
Oh, I
example,
fucked
like
up.
is
Sorry,
it like the moment
pardon
you
my language.
lost or is it beforehand team preview? Like what goes on through your head?
Beforehand, it's always save replay. I take the loss. Sometimes you usually pinpoint it while you're playing, and if you can't pinpoint it while you're playing, you save replay, view it, go turn by turn, and pause, and then you realize, oh, I messed up here. I should have done X, Y, and Z, or I should have valued him doing this. I didn't think about that. When I approach this team next time, I need to have that mindset to remember that he could do X, Y, and Z kind of mindset. But it's always, but it's sometimes it's hard to realize where you mess up, and that goes back to sharing and working with a team or a group of players, um, to see if they could see the things that you can't see. But usually, I'm at the level now where I could kind of see exactly where I messed up, Brady. So. I usually just pinpoint. Okay, turn four instead of parting shot. I should have went for knock. My instant was faster than his my instant was faster than his Ursaluna. So instead of parting shotting the Ursaluna and risking my instant slot getting crit because it got crit, me switching into Rillaboom and getting knocked out, I could have maybe probably just knocked off and survived whatever a blood moon instead of dying from it. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. So if that makes sense. Like just
Yeah.
hindsight, like just I think it's important to always view the game in hindsight after even after a win because you could always play better in a win as well.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, like it's so easy to write off whenever you win. You're like, oh, I'm the go, and like just move past it. But like if you only won
Yeah.
because you won a speed tie, or you only won because they missed an icy win, like you better review that. You know what I'm saying? Like get
Mm,
like that dopamine hit of like the win, but then go right back into it and just be like, okay, how could I have actually have won this? You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Let me
Uh,
see what Cody said.
Pat's asking about effective practice. So effective practice is me vigorously practicing to teams that I expect to run into regionals. And I would play tests with obviously people that I trust and or play on ladder. So on ladder, I try to get to high ladder, and I value high ladder games because I assume, and this is not me to be cocky, I assume that I'm gonna make day two, and I assume that players will be at the level that as the high ladder games and or worse. So I take that practice seriously at a high ladder level. So just remembering that, like I said, saving the replays, reviewing where you messed up, and doing effective practice is just playing into the teams that you expect to see at a regional. So, for example, if you're going to, sorry, how do you pronounce it? Lily, Lil,
I think it's
whatever the
Lil.
regional that's this weekend, you want to practice into Sneasler Balance. You want to practice into Rain. You Elizabeth Rain. You want to practice into all maybe you want to maybe take a look at the top 8 teams that did well at the last regional and kind of see how your team approaches the matchups within those teams because obviously those teams are doing something well, and 9 times out of 10 you're going to run into it. You should not be going to an event right now without a Gholdengo matchup. Gholdengo is the number one broken Pokemon within the format. I think it's number one in usage, day one and day two. If correct me if I'm wrong, probably not. Probably not day two, but it's definitely top 12 in both day one and day two. That's public enemy number one, and people should be valuing a decent. I want to say should have something that deals with it within their team going into an event. You don't want to ever handicap yourself going into an event, whether that be with information, whether that be with prep, whether that be with just going to the event in general. Like you never want to handicap yourself at all. So doing your homework before the event is very important. So that's what I consider effective practice.
That was very detailed. Thank you. And the next question I have is Cody asked, he said he feels like the like playing off instinct, like he feels that like he's done good sometimes off that. But he just says it feels like a slippery slope because sometimes is like for example he's fairly new. His instinct is not like fully developed, like a vetted player is. So how would you kind of like go about that? Like what would you kind of say to him as a newer player who prefers instinct. He's not really like like a calc based player. He's more just instinct. How would you say he could train on getting his instinct up to a very high level?
I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but you gotta put in the hours, you gotta put in the time, and you gotta the trial and error is all about vigorous repetition, right? Trial and error is like the best form of learning for me, that I approach BGC. Brady could attest to this. When I started playing back in 2023, I played him and another top level player, probably 100 times,
Yep.
100 sets each, guys. I'm not even joking, like, I'm
You were
not even trying to
fiending for best
exaggerate.
of threes,
And
bro.
I've
You were
lost and I
fiending.
lost and I lost probably 90 of the sets from each players. But every set I got better just a little bit, and I will take that any day of the week, especially against high level players. So there was a lot I learned, and there's a lot of questions that I asked of what I could have done better, and so that's the kind of approach that I have. But like I said, some of you guys may not have access to players in this fashion, so sometimes that's where a coach could be brought in, a pro could be brought in, and you could pay for coaching in that type of aspect and ask the pro questions in regards to that. And you could play on show. I'm gonna keep saying this. Showdown is your best friend. It is free. You don't have to pay a dollar. You don't have to pay a dollar, and there's so much information out there. That Brady, I know, gives you guys some of the best information and BGC resources out there. Wolf has a Patreon that I believe is super underrated at this moment. Like I humbly pay and watch Wolf's Patreon. I'm literally about to watch after this. I'm going to sit down and watch him talk about board states. That's his new latest upload. There's never an opportunity where you don't there's never you should never give yourself an opportunity to handicap yourself. Learning is fundamental for everybody, fundamental for everyone, no matter how good you are at this game, whether you're at the top, whether you're at the bottom, or you're at the middle, it doesn't matter. Like I said, it's very just helpful just hearing people talk and have open discussion about Pokemon. It opens up your mind. So that's why these like I said, this day two accelerator group is amazing. These top players that do Patreon that obviously have the result are amazing because it's open dialogue that gets embedded in your brain. And once it gets embedded in your brain, it's hard for you to forget, especially if it's something that you're passionate about.
And I really do gotta say, like, passion is like that's gonna be your guys' best friend, by the way. Unchecked passion can be a huge liability, right? Because it can very easily lead to pride. It can very easily lead to like some kind of destruction, like your mental, if you care way too much about it. However, if you gotta care about it, right? Um, like whenever like I personally like take a loss at a regional, or whenever I personally take a loss like on Showdown. It eats me up like so much. Like even whenever I've lost to you, Lorcy, like it literally eats me up. Like like no shade like to you because I think you're a phenomenal player, and like if I'm like looking at it totally humbly, I'm like, oh, I got beat by Lorcy. But in my head, I'm like, nah, like I can beat Lorcy, because it's like I've beaten you before. And in my head, if you get the plus one up on me, I'm like, damn, I got to catch up. You know, I can't, I at least got to go even with you. I can't just let you like
Mhm.
beat me left and right. And I know you feel the exact same way because like I felt that like in like our scrims
100%.
where we just go back and forth. Like it's always like whenever one guy just gets like the constant up on the other one's like, you know, it's like, damn, I need to get better, you know, because it's because we care. We care so
Yeah,
much about it.
especially if they gotta go to bed and they can't run no more sets and they just finish beating you. You know what I mean? It's definitely. I think competitive nature is always good within a group or within a group of friends because it makes you want to get better, right? It doesn't as long as it's in good faith and good nature between like the people that you're being competitive with, like seeing break like obviously for example I bet that seeing me do well at the last two events put up a little fire in you, Brady, to want to do better at the next event that you go to because you know you could play at the same level and or better than me and you know that you're capable. So like it's just important to have that mindset that like, oh no, if Lorcy could do it, I could definitely do it. And this is the message that I always try to portray to people. I'm living proof that if I'm doing if bro I people are considering me top 5 in the game right now. Like which is like crazy to even think about, but these are like discussions that I saw people were having, right? Or saying on Twitter or whatever, right? And like if you would ask me like 2 months ago when I wasn't honestly when before Pittsburgh, I didn't even care about VGC. I was traveling, enjoying my time. I was not playing Pokemon at all up until the week prior to Pittsburgh, and that's the honest truth. And because I just didn't care about the game until one of my friends changed my mindset, and here we are today. I'm supposedly one of the top players at this game. So, uh, and sometimes you need somebody to put that fire in you to make you want to get better. And my friends called me. I'm like I said, Silver, also known as Eric Stewart. He's the one who called me and told me that I'm like literally wasting my time not attending these events because I'm so good at. He's like, yo, you're literally so good at the game, without even like putting that much effort in. Because I would just play him in random sets and I would beat him, and he's like playing all day and he just doesn't understand it, vice versa, etc. So it for me doing well, it's gonna make other people want to do well. And if Brady sees me do well, he's gonna want to. It's gonna put a fire in
Yeah.
him, and it also might even put a fire within him coaching you guys because he wants to put out the best quality, the best content possible, so you guys could also do well.
And I got one last question for you, and this is going to be like the final one before we can wrap this up. I know we're going a little over time. Hope you don't mind. Sorry, I don't want to take up too much for
No, you're good. You're
Wednesday.
good.
Um, but so locking in with standard, I just need to know because there's oftentimes where I coach people and I'll give them like the most standard team in the format, and they're like, oh, won't people prep into this? Like, what is your mindset locking in with like the most standard team? You know, everyone is going to have some kind of line into
Oh,
it. They've prepped into it. What is your mentality as a player using the best tools? Like, how do you see yourself competitively edged up against everyone else? And why do you have that insane amount of confidence in yourself that you can lock in with the most standard team in the format and still collect everyone?
so I used to be the guy that used to bounce around teams and be like, all right, this event I have to use something else because I already used this. But with this team, especially after Pittsburgh, with the least amount of prep that I probably had heading into an event, I felt that though there was something special about this team, and like I truly, guys, I want to say like I truly had like a deep understanding of the team while playing through the event. I lost to Chuppa, but I told myself I literally lost because I didn't fully have enough prep with the team, but I understood the team. I got like that loss kind of gave me a little fire. Like okay, like I brought it to game 3, but like I kind of didn't know what I was doing. But the team was just so good. I felt like the team was carrying me, in a sense, in my Pittsburgh run. So I sat down and I thought, right? I was thinking about switching it up and running rain, and I'm like, wait, well, I just got top 8 with this team. Although like people are prepping to this team, they still have to beat Lorcy, and they also have to beat the team as well, which is really hard to just beat because the team is just really good, right? Unless you're running like probably like a crazy counter team. But at that with that mindset, they still have to beat the player running the team. Everybody plays or runs the team in a different playing style, right? That's how great this team is. Like, there's different ways to approach a team, whether it be with mood stats and or approaches during just playing in general. So I felt as though I told myself I will practice with this team, and I practiced for a week, an hour, each day prior to the event. And I told myself I need to get top 20 or top 10 on the best of three ladder, and I did. And I did it within two days of playing the team after the event. And I said, "Yup, since I'm top 20 in the world, uh, uh, I'm probably one of the best players at this time with the team. This is the mindset that I had, guys. I'm one of the best players in the team, especially in the mirror, because I practiced a lot in the mirror as everybody was running it on ladder. And it's going to be hard to find more than two or three players that are 100% better than me with this team. And with my calculations, I was correct. There was only one player that was obviously better than me in the mirror with the team, is that the person I lost to in finals. And any other player that I played within that tournament that ran the team, I beat them. And when I say I beat them, I beat them in a very convincing manner. So you just have to have confidence within yourself. Like, okay, yeah, like, yeah, I'm running this, but they still have to beat you, the player, not the team.
That is amazing. Thank you so much, Lorcy. All right, guys. I think that's probably a good spot to end it on. Once again, I just kind of have to plug Lorcy's coaching. He dedicated his time to be here. Everyone who's attending this live right now, you guys do get $5 off a coaching session with Lorcy. I gotta plug that. But everyone, give a round of applause. Just because he just dedicated, he dropped some wisdom, like just some like, and a lot of this stuff, I've been telling to use a lot of it because it's just Pokemon is Pokemon, right? But it just feels so refreshing to hear it from someone else, especially someone who just came off a second place. And there's even some additional stuff that I even heard. And I'm like, damn, like I don't even look at the game like that. It's just like, I just, I'm very grateful for you, Lorcy, just for kind of coming up here. I'm just thank you so much for just dedicating your time. But yeah, I think that's about all
I
we
just
got.
want
Do
to
you have
know
any
one
parting
thing
words you want to say to the chat,
before I
Lorcy?
leave. Just want to know one thing. Did you guys learn anything from me just yapping away? I need to know. I want to make sure that everybody took something from this session. It's very important to me that people are not, sorry, pardon my French, that are bullshitting and saying yes, yes, yes. But I want you guys to actually learn something. I'm not here to like, I don't want to bullshit you guys, basically. I want to give you guys how I view and my insight in the game. So I'm seeing 100% yes, yes, sir. Absolutely got a lot from this. Thank you, totally. Thank you so much. Thank you for talking. It was amazing. Yes, if you think you can beat the team, they still have to beat you and vice versa. Yup. Okay, so it's good. I'm so happy that you guys are learn. I'm so happy that you guys took something from today and learned something. And guys, like I said, I'm gonna say this one last time. Brady is a great teacher. He's very, I would say he's very underrated. Like, people don't understand. I mean, a lot of you maybe do understand that are here, but you will improve dramatically staying in this program with Brady. I was lucky enough to learn alongside Brady for free because obviously coaching wasn't really a thing back then. So we were both young kids and we learned together. So, but there was a lot that I didn't understand about the game that Brady just knew just because he was just very intellectually tapped in with VGC. And I'm telling you, as somebody that learned from him. And I obviously learned outside of him as well, but I could tell you as somebody that learned with him, this is very valuable. And the fact that he's able to outsource players, I know he could probably outsource James Evans, me, Tang, old multiple players. He has multiple resources that you guys could hear, even better, even better stuff than I'm saying to just effectively get you guys one step closer to where you want to be within this game. So I just want to say thank you, Brady, for plugging in the coaching, having me here. So happy to talk to you guys. And if whenever you guys need me, whether it be with sets or just playing the game in general, I don't mind playing with you guys or against you guys if I have the time. And yeah, like if Brady ever like needs a set and you guys want me to play Brady or whatever, or and you guys are doing some showcases of matches, don't mind hitting me up, Brady. I'm always available to you. You know that. So I appreciate talking to you guys today.
Yeah, thank you once again. And thank you everyone for watching this. Hope you guys got value out of this. My last call to action for everyone in the chat. go ahead and doesn't have to be right now, just sometime over this next week. Let me know who you guys want to see next in the next Ask a Pro. This was a huge success. I think it'll be really, really hard to top this one because Lorcy just you killed it. I'm not gonna lie, you absolutely killed it. So it's gonna be really hard to kind of top this. But if you guys do know anyone like for example, Evans, Tang, I have a pretty wide network. So just like Lorcy said, just let me know. Shoot a message in general at me, and I'm available for you guys. But thank you once again, Lorcy. Appreciate your time, and thank you everyone for watching. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out. And goodbye.